Last week, I talked to you about the purposes of PowerPoint, and I explained it as one of the many genres that we're introducing to you in your writing career at IPFW. The literacy narrative, which is your next major project, is another genre, okay? And this one's known as a memoir. This is the kind of genre it is. It's a memoir, which basically means that you're writing about yourself. Now, memoirs, while interesting, are not particularly valued in the academic or business community, because supported arguments, where you try to convince someone of a point of view, in which we'll cover later on in the semester, are a more valuable form of writing in that they can sway people to accept specific political, scientific, moral, ethical, or religious positions, not to mention that supported arguments can cause people to purchase products, vote a certain way, support a specific cause, determine public policy, you name it. Memoirs don't attempt this. They don't try to do this. They simply tell a story, sometimes a very good story, which is great, okay? But they're not the same thing, and they're not as valued. It's not the kind of writing you're going to be doing a lot of at IPFW. That said, the memoir is still an important assignment for this class for several different reasons, okay? Number one, notice that I've called this a literacy narrative. This means that I'm asking you to think critically about your own reading and writing life and how it evolved to the point that you are at now with reading and writing. Actually, I'm going to ask you to focus a bit more tightly than on your whole life to date, okay? But more on focus in a minute, please. By calling this a literacy narrative, I'm asking you to actually think about your own thinking when it comes to your feelings for writing and for reading. As I said last week about critical thinking, I'm asking you to push on through to the other side by causing you to focus on an element of your life that is very important to your development as a college student and what I like to call a fully actualized citizen, spouse, significant other, employee, mom, dad, and or just plain outright happy individual. The thought here is that the more you learn about how to explore a specific issue, the harder you examine it, the more you are in control of that issue, rather than letting it control you. Tall order for an English class, you might say. That's what critical thinking is, and that's why IPFW is asking me to teach it to you. Also, as I noted last week, IPFW has asked us to help you form a sense of being among a community of learners here. And by causing you to write this essay and submit it to each other through the discussion topics for peer review, I'm giving you all the opportunity to share your similar experiences. This causes you to know each other a bit better as a class and also to be able to compare notes on similar struggles and successes. Then last but not least, the English department writing program has asked us instructors to make sure that you know certain conventions of writing. And in this case of the memoir, I use it to check your abilities with sentence level issues, such as run-ons, that kind of thing, paragraph issues, and organization, and to offer suggestions and guidance for improvement in these areas if necessary. For details as to exactly what I'll be looking for as I assess this, please look at the rubric for this assignment, just like I asked you last week to look at the rubric for the PowerPoint. You look in the learning module for this unit, and the rubric's there. Remember that I said last week that rubrics are more than grading tools, they are also learning tools. Please pay attention to the individual elements of the rubric. Okay. Now, of course, you want to know the details of this assignment. It's essentially a two-page essay, 2 pages, about a specific element of your life that relates to reading or writing, not necessarily both. It's important in all writing to learn how to focus, so I want you to focus here. Don't tell your whole life, please. Don't do that, all right? Instead, tell in detail about a specific event or a specific issue, rather than trying to paint a broad, vague swath of sketchy information across a broad topic. Don't do that. In other words, it's better to do a small project well than a large project poorly. This becomes particularly important later on in the semester and then when you go on to W233, where you really need to learn how to focus the topic so it becomes manageable and it becomes interesting that way. As you approach this project, please make sure you have read the readings that I provide you about memoirs. Make sure that you've thoroughly studied my lectures about paragraphs, transitions, and how to format a college paper. Don't take any shortcuts, please, okay? And as usual, you know how to get a hold of me, and don't hesitate to ask questions or bounce ideas off of me. I enjoy reading my email. I enjoy hearing from you. So, hey, thanks.